Creamer Media's Mining Weekly is speaking to Steve Pirrie, the CEO of Royal Bafokeng Platinum.
Steve, the 10-year journey you've been on has resulted in an endpoint which is spectacular. Now, I was there when you launched, and I noticed even at the launch, you had the people of South Africa there. You had labor leaders, which we hadn't seen before. And now I look at some of the images you have, that housing that you're taking us so far away from the curse of migratory labor that we had. And you've also got an interesting way of funding that housing. Can you tell us about the housing situation, how many houses you've actually got your people into and what the demand is like from the workers?
Thanks, Martin. At this stage, as I said, we've got 1,400 families already occupying the houses, and the houses are around about 1,500. We still have 100 units outstanding for occupation, and the owners are there. They've just not yet moved in. So we are really quite happy, humbled by what happened, and I must give credit to the guys on the ground who worked very flat out to ensure that at least we created decent homes for our people, our employees.
And what does that do for the business when you've got families around there, people are working for industry and they can see it? What are the advantages of that?
Firstly, it creates a family unit. I'm talking family unit within the work environment. It creates camaraderie. But it creates harmony rather than confrontation. When people knock off and go to a decent home and sleep well and eat well with their families and come back to work, their minds are refreshed, the atmosphere is conducive, but coming back to work, it improves productivity. We have seen it happen. People who are staying in decent homes tend to become more productive than people who are staying in say, squatter camp or so. I'm not under downgrading or degrading those people, but we need to endeavor to move people out of the squatter camps into decent housing, because it simply changes the psychology of people. It makes people happy and look forward to going to work the following day.
And what is your life of mine there? How long will you be having operations there that can have people around mines?
I mean, still of the current mine, the life of mine in terms of the plant, Stellarft 1, the license is 30 years, but you could mine that Stellarft 1 for 40 to 45 years. So it's a long life, and you still have Stellarft 2. So it's a long life. BRPM, I would say 25 years remaining for BRPM.
And that's Stellarft 2. Do you think it'll have the same sort of life as Stellarft 1? Has it got the same 4-element products?
Well, it's a bigger ore body even than Stellarft 1. So we've always said that 40% of our ore body, of our resource base, is Stellarft 2. So it's quite a very big ore body.
And then, when we look at the greenness of the products that you produce, you are producing products that are helping the world to go green. Now, what are you doing yourself to be a green mine?
You'd have listened to the presentation about quite a lot of projects that we're busy with, reducing our carbon emissions, investigating going green on energy generation ourselves, which will include but not exclusively solar energy. We need to reduce our consumption of diesel in our machines. And we are exploring quite a number of opportunities in that regard. Remember, Stellarft is a mechanized mine, so we've got a lot of fleet that operate on diesel, which could be pollutive. So there are quite a number of things that we are busy with, yeah.
And I've got to think of the hydrogen economy, because I'm thinking of changing that diesel to green hydrogen. Could you use the solar power to create some green hydrogen there to power your vehicles?
Absolutely. But as you know, hydrogen economy, hydrogen power is still quite new. Infrastructure not yet developed, storage is not yet developed, but we are doing some studies in that regard. And we will learn from our bigger colleagues, bigger brothers and sisters in Anglo Platinum Impala next door.
And then just going on platinum itself, it hasn't performed as well as rhodium and palladium. What about this substitution? Do you think it's going to put a new spotlight on platinum?
We do believe that substitution is already taking place, but understandably it has taken place quietly, because the minute the OEMs and auto-catalyst manufacturers make noise about it, they will spike the price. But we do believe it is taking place. But having said that, with regard to platinum, there are very beautiful signs showing that platinum coming out of the doldrums, especially promoted by the hydrogen economy. The sentiment is growing day by day on hydrogen economy. But secondly, the consumption of platinum in big vehicles like trucks and buses, especially in China, but we are seeing that in Europe too. But we are also seeing hybrid vehicles, diesel hybrid vehicles, when in the past you never saw them. So the United States also, even though they've announced that they're moving to electric power trains, but we have seen big vehicles also consuming a lot of platinum. So platinum is coming back. It is not going to challenge palladium and rhodium, but it is going to find its place under the sun through different uses.
And also the emission control regulations.
Yeah.
What impact will that, do you think?
Well, the impact control regulations are the ones that are sparing the use of platinum and other PGMs. The world is going clean as far as the air is concerned. If you see China going for cleaner air, then you know the world is becoming cleaner. We just want to see India joining the bandwagon in that regard. And there are positive noises coming from that side. So stringent anti-emission legislation across the world is helping the PGM market. We've got to acknowledge, of course, that battery electric vehicles are a reality, are a phenomenon, but that we don't see them as competition, but we see them as a challenge to PGMs, and therefore PGMs and indeed other powertrains must find a space under the sun, side by side with electric vehicles.
And do you think South Africa could do a little bit more to look towards cleaning up its own air, using what people are doing elsewhere to regulate transport and also industry?
Absolutely. We can start. Charity begins at home. We're producing a cleaner metal in PGMs, but we're not utilizing it properly as an example of how this metal can be used in the country. And we can start with municipal buses, we can start with trucks as an example, because those are big pollutants.
That was Creamer Media's Mining Weekly, speaking to Steve Phiri, the CEO of Royal Bafokeng Platinum.